Hey, so I just wanted to make a video about relactation and my story so far. So this is the last 4 weeks of my relactation journey. I thought it would be useful to make this video because I found that looking at other people's relactation success stories was really helpful when I was deciding whether or not I was going to do this. So let me tell you a little bit about me. So basically, hi, I'm Hannah. I've got a beautiful little girl. She is 6 months this week. I'm a newly diagnosed type 1 diabetic, so I didn't find out that I had type 1 diabetes until after Ella was born. I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant, and then it kind of just went away, and then obviously I was diagnosed, which wasn't great because obviously that kind of was the main reason that I stopped breastfeeding her in the first place. So it's probably helpful if I actually just tell you a story about what happened. So our breastfeeding journey, really brief, I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a very long story. Our breastfeeding journey started, so Ella was born by C-section. It all went perfectly well. She latched on straight away. She fed beautifully, wonderfully, every hour and a half, as you know, the beginning always is. But she just fed like absolutely fine. Yeah, so maybe when she was 10 weeks old, I developed mastitis, which if any of you have had, you will know it is horrendous. But I thought, this is fine. I've just got mastitis. I'm going to get over it. We're going to carry on breastfeeding because everything, by this point, like breastfeeding was fine. I could do it in public. I knew what clothes to wear. I knew when she was, it's quite easy to know when she was hungry, but we were doing really well, and I was really proud of us for getting that far. So getting mastitis, I thought, it's just one of these things, it's going to be fine. So I did lots of massage, lots of hot and cold compresses. I used the shower head to try and massage it all out. In the end, I ended up getting a course of antibiotics because I was really, really poorly, like the fever and the chills and the sweats. That was the main thing for me. That was awful. So I got over mastitis. I mean, it was a good 4 days before I actually felt like human again. But then I started to notice that my vision was going really funny and I was really, really thirsty, which is a sign of diabetes. But I didn't think anything of it. I kind of thought this is the aftermath of the mastitis, like, my God, mastitis is terrible, it just goes on for ages. And I kind of ignored all these symptoms, and in the end, I still had my blood glucose monitor, the one that you prick your finger, squeeze a little bit of blood out, see what it is. So I thought, well, I'll see what it is. So I did that, and it said that it was really high. It came up with like a HI, which basically means if it's over 33, I think it's millimoles, I'm not quite sure, still trying to learn all these things, then it doesn't register. So I was like, whoa, okay, so my blood sugar was really, really high. Didn't really know what that meant, didn't really know what I was supposed to do. So thankfully, in the UK we have this really good 111 service, which the NHS is provided by the NHS, that you can ring up and basically just get some advice. So I sort of rang up and said, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this means that I've got really high blood sugar, so what am I supposed to do about it, and what's happening to me? And long story short, so then I ended up in hospital, was suffering from ketoacidosis, so where your body's sort of going acidic because there's no insulin to break down the glucose in your blood. So anyway, I ended up in hospital for, I think it was nearly 2 days, and obviously without Ella was at home, and it was heartbreaking that she was then having to be fed bottles by my partner, which was fine. I mean, she's such a greedy little thing. Like, it really didn't matter to her. As long as she was getting fed, that was the main thing. While in hospital, I was still trying to pump because I didn't want this mastitis to come back. And obviously, if you don't feed, you know that you get things clogged up. So I was like really worried that I was going to get mastitis again. So I was trying to pump, but I wasn't pumping enough that she would have fed. So I was worried about my supply dropping. And to be quite honest, like, I just panicked about my body and what I was asking it to do, feeding my baby, and then obviously trying to keep my blood sugar normal. And because she's got on so well with the bottles in the last 2 days, I kind of got home from hospital and we just talked about it and said, like, should we just feed her bottles? And we did. And to be honest, it broke my heart. I was literally sobbing for about 2 or 3 weeks. Like, I wish back then I could go and hit myself and say, come on, like, you can feed her. Just because you've got diabetes, it doesn't mean that you can't breastfeed your baby. But I don't know, it was so much, and I decided to stop breastfeeding. So I guess my milk probably dried up after maybe like a month, 4 weeks. I mean, it was probably completely gone then. So fast forward to Ella when I don't know how many weeks she actually was. So anyway, it was like 12. Okay, so she was 22 weeks. This is my maths is terrible. So she was 12 weeks. It'd been 12 weeks since I last breastfed when I decided that I was going to start relactating. So we're getting on for 3 months now. It's quite a long time. But because we had breastfeeding established to begin with, I kind of hoped that would be enough to be able to kickstart it back in. So week 1 of relactation was pumping, and it still is pumping. But I'll show you the breast pump that I've got. I hired it from our local children's centre, which is really good that we can do that because I didn't really want to buy an electric breast pump. But it's this one. So it's sorry if that's backwards. It's Ardo Calypso, and it's quite cool because obviously you turn it on here and you can set the cycles here. So if you it says in the manual, you can just put it like really fast cycles and the volume low, like to sort of stimulate your milk at the beginning. And then when your milk starts to flow, you put the cycles lower and the volume higher so that it like sucks more out, kind of like what a baby would do. So that's pretty cool. So basically I pumped, and I read online that you should pump at least 8 times a day. So that's kind of, I was kind of trying to do every 2 hours, 20 minutes on each side. I don't have two, I don't know what they're called, pump things, one for each side. I might get another one, but at the moment I haven't invested in it because I'm not sure if it's worth it. So if anyone knows whether it's worth it, please let me know. That would be great. So yeah, just 20 minutes on each side every 2 hours. I mean, admittedly, sometimes I did miss a pump, but it's really bad to miss them apparently. So I guess, so yeah, I just tried really hard not to. And then I did read that getting up overnight, you should do at least one overnight. So when Ella was waking up for a bottle, I was trying to pump then as well. So I guess I probably did this every couple of days. She does always wake up for a bottle overnight, but sometimes I'm just so tired I couldn't do it. I just had to go back to sleep. So yeah, I think it hasn't affected it too much because as long as I got 8 pumping sessions done in a day, I kind of mimicked a bit like how Ella used to feed. So like a nice long feed in the morning and then feeds throughout the day, and then in the evening I tried to like cluster pump to get like, it's basically just I sit on the pump for the entire evening while we watch TV or whatever. I'm just pumping away. But I think it kind of works because I think that's how she would have fed anyway. So I think it's quite good for my body to kind of tell it that this is what we need to do. So week 1, literally nothing, no milk, no sign of anything. I did actually, that's like the first couple of days I did get like a little bit of, I think it's colostrum, like the sticky stuff, but not like, I don't know if that's what it was, whether it was like something left over in there from when the milk dried up is what I think it might have been, because I was like really excited, like, oh my god, it's working already. And then I had literally nothing. So then I had nothing, like no milk at all, until probably, okay, so what are we at? So basically it's been nearly 4 weeks now, and this last week, so after 3 weeks of pumping absolutely nothing, this last week I'm starting to get a little bit of milk when I hand express. So pumping, I think it's this side I can get something with the pump, like the tiniest little bit of milk, and this side I can't, but I can hand expressing. So yeah, hand expression's really good. I've only started doing that in the last week, so maybe that's why the milk's come through better than just with the pump. I don't know whether my body just responds better to hand expression than to pumping, but definitely like hand express, like that, I think that's really important, and I wish I did it from week 1, but I will do it now after every pumping session. Hand express, because I think it gets like every last bit as well. So I'm not getting enough to drip into the bottle yet, but it's a start. And if every time I'm sort of anywhere, I just quickly hand express just to get that little bit of milk out, it is so good just to see like milk coming out. So I haven't really spoke about like why I'm relactating actually. So I know that I think I was so heartbroken about stopping, and I kind of think that she's getting to the stage now, 6 months, so she's going to be starting some solids. Like now she has kind of a bit of banana or a bit of some sort of fruit, or nothing major. Like she's certainly not dropped any feeds or anything yet, but I'm hoping that as I build up my supply, she'll start eating and drop some of her milk, her bottles, so that then I can replace gradually the bottles with breast milk, and then I can give her my breast milk again, because quite frankly I don't like giving her formula. There was this thing in the news not very long ago in the UK about Aptamil and the new version, and it like curdling and making babies really sick. And I just kind of thought, what am I feeding my baby? Like, I don't eat any processed food. I try very hard not to eat anything that I don't know what's in it. And I'm feeding her this formula and I don't know what's in it. I'm sure I know it's fine, because obviously it has to be fine, it has to be tested. But I just think, oh my god, why am I doing this? So basically, yeah, that's the reason. So if it doesn't work and I don't get to relactate successfully, then I'm not going to beat myself up about it, because at least I tried. And I think if I didn't do this, I'd beat myself up about it for the rest of my life. So I'm trying it, and I'm pleased to say that it's working so far. So in terms of supplements and drugs, I yesterday started taking this drug called domperidone, yeah, so this is what it looks like. I know it's liquid, such a baby, because I can't swallow tablets, so I asked for it in a liquid form, but probably tablet form is the norm. It's basically an anti-sickness drug, so it's nothing like major, but I guess it was prescribed if you are feeling sick all the time for some reason, and it kind of moves the food quickly through your digestive system so it doesn't hang around your stomach too long. I haven't noticed any difference in me yet with taking it. Milk wise, I hope that it actually does what it says it's going to do and up my supply. So I spoke to my GP and he's kind of like, well, it won't hurt you to try, but I don't really know whether it's proven. Although it does say in the side effects that the side effect of it is breast milk production. So that's why I think people say to take it, it can be prescribed for that, because oh dear, technically I don't know exactly. So prolactin, which is the hormone I think that you need to create milk, it increases that, so it's meant to increase your milk supply, in short. I will check back in next time and let you know whether that actually worked, because at the moment I haven't seen any difference. Like, I'm still getting the little bit of milk like I was getting, but I'm hoping that it will increase or just kickstart something. So yeah, I think that's it at the moment. I've waffled for a very long time, but yeah, it's a lot to say. I think if you're thinking of relactating, then do it, because if you don't, you'll beat yourself up about it. It's, I think pumping all the time, especially when you've got a baby, is really hard because they need your attention all the time, obviously, and it's just finding the time to sit down with a pump. Luckily for me, Ella's not really mobile yet, so she's not rolling or sitting or crawling or running around or doing anything. So I can sit on the floor with her and I can play with her and I can pump at the same time, which is great really, because otherwise if I was running around after her, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So yeah, I will let you know if hopefully next time, after the next 4 weeks or so, I will be able to say, yeah, we've replaced one of her feeds with breast milk, but I don't know yet whether we will or not. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and yeah, if you like the video, then give me a thumbs up and let me know if there's anything else I can help with, or yeah, just anything at all. Or please, if you have any like suggestions for me, please help, especially anything to do with getting babies latched back on. That would be really helpful, because I hadn't really thought too much about that. I know that obviously baby suckling is the best way to stimulate your nipples to get the breast milk coming back, but I just kind of, I don't know, I don't want to confuse her, and I don't want to latch her on if I don't have any milk, because I don't want her to then associate that with no milk. So anyway, yeah, if anyone's got any tips, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. Bye.